What the heck? Let's do this one more time. Let's do a part 2. Price action based, but indicator pattern based trading. So looking for patterns in the indicator. I showed it to you using the iGRID Evo indicator. Now let's show it to you using the iGRID scalper. So again, I'm on 55 grid Renko chart, but you don't have to use Renko. You can use tick chart, range bar, time-based, whatever you want. So let's show you what I did in the indicator settings and all this functionality and flexibility you have. I went, now here is where I wanted, it's like, okay, now I want to use the cycle MA final smoothing on the Heikinashi, which we are adding to the Evo, but I can use it right now in the scalper. I went with the setting of 39, lime red, and all this stuff. I went transparent, but for the uptrend bar color on scalper, I picked dark gray, and then I picked gray for the downtrend color. So in the end, you can do what you want. I turned off entry option 1 and 2. You could turn those on if you wanted to see them. Let's say you wanted to see entry option 1. Let me go and put magenta, just kind of turn it on so you can kind of see those little points. What the heck? We'll leave that on. Little quick scalping areas that can help you make some additional, like if you're in a running trend, you're in the money, you want to add, or maybe, you're waiting to see an established move take place, and then you want to quick scalp it. So I'm just trying to show you all these different ways we can use these tools. Price markers, hate them. Go bye-bye price markers, and voila. So anyhow, there we have it. So in this way, I can use the cycle MA smoothing and still kind of get the same visual look where, yes, I can see price. It's a bit subdued. I could play around with the colors for the uptrend and downtrend paint bar functionality side of the scalper. But in the end, I can still, see the patterns just right. Now I want to get into another way where you can use this approach. You can use this approach with the Heikinashi lagged a bit. So now you can lag it a bit. So let's go up to like a 55. So now I can use this approach for working the edges of the market. So if I see a level sweep, so if I see the market has a sweep of a key level, and I talked about this in a few other videos the other day, if I see a key level swept, then I want to get some good confirmation. So that's a full-blown level sweep. I just took out a key level of resistance, and then I get the rotation. Now I'll take a shot at shorting that area price. So levels test and level sweeps trade, and then the secondary lower pivot high in the indicator, and it's an M pattern, is another thing. So if I'm going to use this setup just to get in trades for level sweeps and levels test, at times I'll lag it a bit or make it a bit less responsive to price. So does that make sense? So let's say this cleaned out some key level from before. Market had some key level, and it's come down, it's cleaned it out. Then I'm waiting for green, get into a trade. Didn't really get much, but hey, I got a higher pivot low, and now I have a W pattern in the indicator. Take another shot. Didn't get a whole lot, but again, it's stair-stepping higher. Take another shot, and the market's hooking upward on you after a level sweep. That's a good pattern. So there's multiple ways you can adjust the coloring and the settings in accordance with what you're trying to accomplish. Now, if somebody's just trying to do some quick scalping in alignment with running trends, that's a different approach. Then you can go down to like a 19. You see a trend start running, pull back lift, get in, pull back lift, get in, that kind of trading. I'm not really into that. I like M's, W's. I like developing pattern where I'm getting higher pivot lows to be a buyer, or a developing pattern where I'm getting lower pivot highs to be a seller. A little more on the catching the bigger structural, or trying to get into what could turn into the bigger, more structural moves is more, kind of the type of setups that I would prefer to take a shot at. Okay, let's go back up here to about a 55, and we'll leave it at that. So in the end, you can use the scalper to do the same thing. And the control, remember with the scalper, the control of the candlestick coloring is done in the indicator this time, not in the data series. So it's right here. So somebody could theoretically, could kind of really make the candlesticks very subdued. They could just go gray and gray, so they barely see the candlesticks. They just want to see the color. When the market starts running, they just want to see the entry one options. Now I can go into the data series and I can fatten up the bar width a bit. Let's go up to like a 2. So it'll embolden the bars a bit. So even though they're subdued, you can see them a little bit better if that's your thing, and so on. So there's a lot of flexibility. And this way you can see the entry option ones a bit better too. And especially if a market starts getting a running trend, and you want to be able to see the entry option ones into running trends, that's how you can make adjustments to see the candlesticks, not only in the colors that work for you, but how prominent do you want them to be. Okay, so bar width, I'll go back to a 1, and that works for me. And again, I just want to see price. Like I can just see stuff that's just screaming out to me. Like I see a market that's been cycling higher. We sweep a level over some prior levels. I get rotation. Now that's pretty late in the day, so I wouldn't be trading, but just from a pattern standpoint, I like that. We had a level sweep. So the indicator traded higher than before, then it traded higher again. So level sweep, take a shot to the short side. The market's working its outer edges of price, but then right there, I love the look of that indicator, just screaming out that we have an M pattern. Take a shot, stop no more than most recent price pivot, and you get some movement. I'm just saying it's the visuals and seeing the indicator over just basically focusing on price. Because what happens with traders, when price starts doing that, it confuses traders. So to get your visualization focused more on the indicator and, in a sense, smoothing out the price action, let's go to 39s. You can, in the end, you can make it as responsive or not responsive to price as you want. That's up to you. And I'm constantly looking for M's and W's and tests of support, tests of resistance. See a market pull back. It comes and retests an area it tested prior in the morning and then lift. Maybe I'm not all that excited about being a buyer here, thinking, nah, this baby's going to go lower. But then what does she do? She gives me a higher pivot low and a W pattern. Let's draw that W pattern on the indicator. Pull back, lift, pull back, lift, go time. And that one had a pretty good run. Here's another nice little M to the downside. Another little M to the downside. So I like to get on time frames where I'm not too low, but I'm not too high, where I can see these M's and W's, and I can see tests of key levels of support and resistance, and then look for rotations of the Heikin-Ashi to get in and take advantage of it. Okay, so here's just one last example. Here we come into US cash session open about 8:30ish U.S. Central Time. I like the fact that the market, this pivot in the indicator was lower than that one. Then this pivot was lower. So you can see the market from an indicator standpoint is trading down a bit. You can see a bit of a trading down a bit, but then I like that I get a higher pivot low and I get a W pattern in the indicator, long. Price above a green Heikin-Ashi, and the market's not really breaking much lower. It's for the most part hanging on, not coming down and testing any recent levels of support. But then it's the higher pivot low that gets me excited. And if you didn't get in there, then it offered you another higher pivot low to get in. And then the market ended up having a pretty good run. So looking for those patterns. Pullback, lift, pullback, lift. This is the overnight session during the EU markets hours. But this here was right out of the open. When out of the open, there was a couple attempts to trade lower, didn't really trade lower, and then started, the indicator started stair-stepping higher and gave you a bit of a W pattern there to work with. And sometimes, I mean, these W and sometimes these M and W patterns are pretty profound. So we're into the US session, pullback, lift, pullback, lift. Right here, when we had green Heikin-Ashi, we had down bars trading down. That's not what I want to see. On this green Heikin-Ashi, we had bars above the Heikin-Ashi, but trading upward. Now it cycled a bit, but it got some legs and started running. And then, so this area held. Then we get another W pattern. Pulls all the way back to that area, gives me another W pattern. Later in the day, another W pattern in the indicator. This area held. Higher pivot low on the W pattern and lift. So M's and W's. Got some little M's in here. First cycle didn't rotate lower. The second one finally did. So looking for those patterns by using the indicator instead of watching price. So you can dial it into a visual efficiency that works for what you're trying to accomplish from seeing the market in a way that you can make a quick decision. Like, oh, there's the pattern, I'm watching it. And this, like, when you're on a 55 grid Renko bar, these bars aren't going like super fast. You have plenty of time to watch the pattern play out and then work into a trade. So anyhow, there you have it. Just wanted to cover this again, but using the iGRID scalper indicator and, another way to set up the charts in a visually efficient manner that works for you to see these patterns in the indicator. So it's basically indicator pattern-based trading. There you have it. If you have any questions, info@gridalgo.com. Have a great day.